Hey everybody. So it's been a while since I've done one of these sort of talking head videos. Yeah, so I just want to talk about why I quit Ultimate Guitar, why I quit doing music reviews, and I want to briefly touch on a couple other little topics here, mostly revolving around just collaborations with other YouTubers, but mostly just getting into why I'm no longer writing album reviews for Ultimate Guitar. So, just a little history. I've written album reviews for Ultimate Guitar officially since I think it was May 2016. Whenever Mark Tremonti released his solo album Dust, that was the first album that I reviewed for Ultimate Guitar. And you know, I'd been writing them just for fun before that for, a number of years before that. Like, I think I was writing short reviews as far back as 2003. I remember doing one for Metallica's Saint Anger when it came out, which, it's pretty funny. Like, that's a long time ago. So, you know, writing album reviews is something I've kind of always enjoyed. But after a while, I think with Ultimate Guitar, writing album reviews kind of became something of a bit of a chore. And, this is fine. Like, I kind of anticipated this would happen because, let's be honest, with Ultimate Guitar, it is a wide variety of different genres. Like, they're not just going to focus on what I like, which is progressive rock, progressive metal. They're going to focus on all guitar based genres rock, metal, indie, even the occasional hip hop and pop record. And it's not like I haven't discovered any good music through doing so. Like, I mean, a really good example was when I reviewed Andrew WK's You're Not Alone. In fact, when that album came up on the list for the month that I was reviewing it, I actually almost dreaded having to do that review because, like, I had a different view in my head of Andrew WK's music, and then hearing the album, I was blown away. So it's not like it's been like all bad times. And I also want to address this, just in case anybody who, you know, is on the editorial team from Ultimate Guitar is watching. This has nothing to do with any of you guys. Justin, David, Vlad, Maria, Matt, Jorge, Anton, Maria, I think I already said that. You guys are all fantastic. I love you guys so much, and I'm so grateful to have been a part of the editorial team for Ultimate Guitar with you. So grateful. But the process of writing the reviews itself has had a bit of a toll on me, and that's largely why I've quit. There are other factors as well. I've grown a lot busier over the last few months. Everything from my day job to I'm going to get into a couple of like my musical projects a little later, but things have gotten a little more difficult in that regard of like trying to have a good work life balance. And yeah, just the process of writing album reviews hasn't stayed a positive one for me. Frankly, if anything, over the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic, it's kind of eroded my love of discovering music and my ability to really enjoy the music I'm listening to. And maybe it's just a problem where I can't shut my brain off enough when I hear new music for the first time. But when I do, it's just like the album review starts forming in my brain, and it's kind of a toxic thing that my mind is doing that I just sort of need to get away from. I need to get away from that to get to a point again where I could genuinely start enjoying music. And I think it started to show in my reviews over the pandemic, where pretty much everything was just a 7 out of 10. It was just like, it's music, I guess. It's not bad, it's not great. And that's kind of how it is. Like, I think when you start to review enough music, everything just kind of blends together and nothing really. I would have loved to get a couple albums that would really upset me, or like really, like that Andrew WK one really surprised me, but nothing really surprises or upsets me anymore in music. And it's just kind of made it so that I just don't really want to focus that much energy on thinking too much about music anymore. I just want to enjoy it again. I just want to have Spotify or iTunes open on my computer and go, you know what? I want to click on that album today. I never listened to it. What does it sound like? Without going, oh God. Now, again, the guys from Ultimate Guitar that I worked with are great. You're all fantastic, and this statement has nothing to do with you, but I kind of liken this to when I was in high school, and I had a bad English teacher who, took the idea of reading and turned it into just this endless cycle of work. Everything became reading notes. Everything became, you know, summarizing like you had to analyze every little bit of what you were reading. And before this, like I'd say even in like grade 9, grade 10, I was really starting to discover, you know, the literature that I liked. You know, my favorite author of all time is Arthur C. Clarke, and I became a fan of his before this. But then when I had this bad music teacher that turned something I loved, I genuinely enjoyed doing, into a tedious chore, suddenly, like, I couldn't get into any more novels. Like, I think since high school I've completed maybe 5 or 6 novels. And I really don't want that to happen with music. I don't want to lose the one thing that's been probably the most stabilizing and most important facet of my adulthood. You know, the one thing that's gotten me through some of my darkest periods, some of my worst times, through the worst of my mental health struggles. To lose that would devastate me. And through the pandemic, I was really starting to feel like that was happening. That my ability to love music was slipping away from me. And again, that's really something I can't live with losing. And so that's why I decided that Ultimate Guitar, I needed to let go of that. And I did have a break for a couple of months earlier this year, thinking that would be enough to get back into it. And it turned out I was wrong. Like, as soon as I got back into it, the same feelings started coming up that, like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying the process anymore. I'm not enjoying analyzing music. I'm not enjoying forming my thoughts about it. I just want to get back to just enjoying it. So that leads me to a couple other facets of this. First off, I am a musician myself. I play guitar and bass. I write and record my own music under the Borealia name. You can find some of my music on Spotify and iTunes. I also performed with a local concert band that's kind of like a small orchestra called No Strings Attached. And for many years, especially through the pandemic, where we did actually have continued to rehearse as a band, and we actually did a couple of live performances, that's been sort of my tenuous link to music. That's kept me from really falling out of love with music. And if it hadn't been for that, I might have just started selling my guitars or something. Like, it's been a bit of a trouble couple of years for me with music. But thankfully, I've had some good social support through working with fellow musicians. Now, earlier this year, just before the summer started, I got an offer to join a local cover band. Now, it's nothing exciting. I mean, we're just talking about like acoustic pop rock covers played at a bar. You know, it's not exactly a band that's going to change the world. It's not even still my kind of music. Like, it's not prog metal, but it is an opportunity for me to get out there, play my music in front of a crowd, and it is a paid gig. I get paid for every performance. We've already done a number of shows. We have a couple more booked. We have a few offers from other venues to do shows. And I feel like this is another good opportunity for me to get back in love with music through performing it again. I want to get back to my roots of being a musician. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. And that was another reason why I decided to quit Ultimate Guitar. I wanted to take my focus away from analyzing music and writing about it to performing it again. I want to make my life, of course, like I want to do music as a living, or at least as something that supplants my day job. And before this, it was writing reviews was the sort of monetary compensation I got for being a musician. But now I want to focus it on making music again, on being a musician, being out there on stage, playing it, and feeling that connection again that I'd started to lose over the last few years with the reviews. So that's the main reason I decided to quit Ultimate Guitar. Now, very few people who are watching this video who might have known about my review channel before, or have seen me collaborate with other YouTubers like Notes Reviews, Similitude of Prague, Nathan on Shuffle, they might not know that I've done a lot of writing reviews for Ultimate Guitar. So, and I felt like when I've collaborated with particularly Notes Reviews, that maybe I didn't really belong in that scene because, like, these are more established faces on YouTube in the progressive rock scene. I mean, many of them have interviewed some of my favorite artists. I believe both Similitude and Notes have interviewed Arian Lucasen, and I mean, I can't compete with that. But they've had me on a couple of shows with them, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun, but I also felt like I was lacking a bit of knowledge because I just haven't had the mood. Like, because of all this stuff with Ultimate Guitar, I just haven't had the time or the patience to really go and listen to a lot of new music. So when we were doing like sort of the roundtable discussions about new music for 2022, I really felt like I was out of my league. And I still do. I still feel like I haven't paid enough attention to what's going on in music this year to really feel like I belong in any sort of discussion about this year's music. But I have been invited to a couple of projects with Similitude, Nathan on Shuffle, Notes Reviews, and, we'll see how things go. Again, I feel like a bit of an outlier because I'm more well known for my written work, and I tried doing the album reviews on YouTube for a while, and it didn't work out for me. I wasn't feeling it either. But other types of music discussion, especially again within the prog rock and prog metal sphere, I'm definitely open to it. So, I've been invited to a couple of projects, and one of them, spoiler alert, is Dream Theater related. So I think that's an easy one for me. I'm gonna do that. I really would like to. And another one is Christmas related, I guess, and just something for the holidays. And we'll see how things go. But I think the main takeaway here is that I'm trying to work a bit on myself. I'm trying to work a bit on just getting back to a point where I enjoy music again, and not just have this analytical part of my brain that equates listening to music to work. And I'm sorry to my fans who read my Ultimate Guitar reviews and really enjoy them. I know I've gotten a lot of praise and a little bit of criticism over the years for doing it, and a lot of people enjoy my work. And it is a bit sad to know that I'm not going to be doing it again, at least not for a while. The offer is there for me to come back to it if I ever feel like it. And I may. It might be one of these things that after a couple of years, maybe I'm back on board. But for now, I just want to get back to a point where I'm not mentally compartmentalizing new music as this chore that needs to be done. I just want to get back to a space where I'm excited about new music releases and excited to listen to enjoy, and to think about music again. And so that's why I'm not reviewing music anymore. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to say. This was a very unscripted video. I probably did a lot of tongue flapping without really saying anything. I'm sorry. And if I sound like I'm stuffed up, I'm recovering from a cold. So, we're all good. Thank you for watching the video. And I hope to talk to you guys all again sometime soon. Maybe you'll see me on a future video with notes reviews, Similitude of Prague. I'm open to collaborating with any of you guys, You're all wonderful folks. And those of you watching, you're all wonderful folks too. So take care. Love you guys. See you later.